All right, guys. Good morning. Today is Thursday. Not exactly sure on the date. I believe it's the 19th, perhaps. I'm kind of lost. But I do know it's Thursday, and that's pretty much 9 or 8 days out from the Legion. We decided we'll do it. I do know, obviously, I'm still not an open bodybuilder. I do know but I do need a lot more muscle, which means a lot more time. But again, I'm doing this because I love it. One more opportunity to travel, to be doing what I love, to be sharing stage with great athletes, and to see how much further I actually need to be doing an off season from the next year. I do understand that I probably need 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever, of muscle mass, and I know that'll take fucking like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know. I'm not in a rush. As you guys see, I do this because I love it. However, I do know that I have a nice line. I do know I have great proportions, and even though I'm going to be smaller, the goal is to be and present just the best package I can. Like fuller than I'm gonna be as a 212, definitely. And yeah, I can place as far as last and maybe in the top 3. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just thinking of enjoying the moment, and seeing myself next to the big guys. Like to give me a picture of like how much work, if I need to take a year off season or maybe a couple months, and then jump in again. But it's like an eternal building. We're always striving for progress, and I do know if I like to be an actual contender at the Olympia as an open bodybuilder, I will need 2, 3, 4 years. But again, not in a rush, just enjoying my life, enjoying my moment, enjoying my passion for bodybuilding, and taking advantage of the fact that I can do it. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. We have no clue where the world is going to be tomorrow. Like, it might end for whatever reason. I may have some health issues not related to bodybuilding that stop me from doing this. So while I'm alive, I'm going to do this as much as I can. Today is the chest day. I'm looking forward to share with you. Stay tuned, and probably a full day of eating. Just to start the day, this is not cardio. I do not have any formal cardio right now. This is just steps to wake up, go for a little walk outside. The day is not as beautiful as usually, but I do like to wake up, go walk, let my body understand that the day is about to start before I actually have any food. So I did wake up, I synchronized the check-ins, I do some vacuum, I do some mobility, I hydrate, I come for my walk, and then I go home, I eat, and I just wait for the day. So yeah, we'll go about it now. I'm going to show you guys some meals, the training session today. And yeah, stay tuned. And remember, like, share, subscribe, all these things. So breakfast on the making. Some supplements I take every single morning. I take creatine 10 grams. I do take it in the morning just because every day I want to take it at the same time, so I don't forget about it. So every day I take 10 grams in the morning. I take 1 scoop, which is like 2 or 3 grams of taurine, 1 little scoop of magnesium as well, 10 to 15 grams of EAAs, and 15 to 20 grams of glutamine. And no, I do not count my calories at all, but even less from fucking EAAs. So this is meal 1. It's pretty much beef and veggies and a coffee here. What I've always done since 2017 when I worked with Jordan Peters is that back then he would save my carbs mostly for around the workout, and which means I wouldn't really have any carbs for breakfast. I hate that. My favorite meal is breakfast. However, something that I learned throughout the years is I have a better time sleeping after carbs. So on my plan, in theory, my first meal would be 5 eggs and 100 grams of carbs from cream of rice. What I'm doing is I leave that for my last meal of the day. Whereas this on the plan with the last one, I change it for the first. Because if I have the first meal, like the worst meal of the day is like just fucking protein and veggies, as my first one. And then I do and go and I do my day, I work, etc. I get occupied, so my mind won't really be overthinking about food. Whereas at night is when we tend to overthink a little bit more. So pretty much at night I have the meal that I like the best, and that really helps me sleeping. And I just found over the years, because I've been doing this forever, every single prep, that's what I've done, that having great sleep is much more important than waking up to carbs and leaving no carbs for before bed. If you actually manage a good sleep during prep, and I haven't missed one single night of sleep this whole prep, it makes all the difference. So some people may see as weakness. To me, it's just being smart. All right, so I forgot to say the measure. That meal that I just had, we've been doing the protein all raw weight. I just prefer doing it anyway, this way, just to control it like better, because I'm pretty anal about it sometimes, especially in prep. So that was 275 grams of beef. I'm doing 97% beef. And veggies. Veggies I don't really... Okay, so meal number 2. This was supposed to be 200 grams of steak, raw weight, 250 grams of potatoes, and some veggies. However, I do find that wild sockeye salmon, which is very lean, digests better with me. I do prefer the taste of steak, but I was using sirloin, and like the fat content on wild sockeye salmon in terms of like calories, amount of fat per 100 grams is pretty similar if you actually trim all the fat of the sirloin. But wild sockeye salmon, even though it doesn't taste as good, in my taste at least, has the same amount of fat-ish, but it digests that much better. So at this point, I'm just looking for whatever I digest better. And that's it. It's healthier as well, because I know it's wild caught. So yeah, 200 grams raw weight of wild sockeye salmon, 250 grams of potato raw weight. I just do air fry with it, and some asparagus. And at this point, I am measuring my salt already. Chris didn't tell me to do so, but he always asks how much I'm using, so I just find it easy to start counting from now. I'm doing a 1/4 teaspoon per meal, and not using any condiments anymore. I mean, I actually am using condiments, but that's it. This is the one I found on Whole Foods. There's no salt added. It's mustard. Obviously, it doesn't taste as good as with salt, but as you can see, the ingredients here, it doesn't bother my stomach. It doesn't change anything at all. So this is pretty much what I've been using with every meal that I have. Alrighty, so post-workout meal. Here we have 300 grams of tilapia or any whitefish. I was trying cod, because cod is wild caught and, well, supposedly healthier, but I just can't do the flavor or the smell of it. And 400 grams of rice, supposedly. Now I'm gonna tell you guys how I do it. Pretty much, when I started working with Chris, I asked how many carbs he would have around in 100 grams of rice, because he sends me the rice in cooked weight. And he said like every 100 grams of rice, he considers 25 grams of carbs. So since we started prep, every time I have like 400 grams of rice meal, I consider it 100 grams of carbs. That being said, on this meal particularly, I've always done half cream of rice, half rice. So all my rice, I cook it raw. So I do raw measure, because then I can just like add a lot of water, and I can like increase the volume by doing so. So this is pretty much around 65 grams of raw weight rice, plus 65 grams of raw weight cream of rice. So that amounts to around 100 grams of carbs, which is what we're looking for on this meal. As you guys can see, this is the Flavor Gang brownie batter flavor, my favorite absolute flavor ever. I fucking love it. I've been using it all prep. And here's like the salt-free mustard, as I told you guys, in the rice underneath. And I do use eggplant and green beans on this meal. From when the eggplants are over and the green beans are over, usually in the last week, all I'm gonna do is asparagus, just because it digests better. But for now, I still like the taste of it. So yeah, 100 grams of carbs worth of rice. And again, I only do it in prep when it's like pretty much the same source. So it's not like he's gonna tell me, well, 100 grams of carbs from rice, and I'm gonna switch it to bread or whatever if you like. Not in the pre-contest, okay? Some people will do it. Me, I just like stick to the same sources. So rice is rice, potato is potato. Whenever he's got me on pasta, pasta is pasta. So pre-contest for me, I'm like a little bit more anal. However, if it was in the off season, I could switch this rice for pasta or something else. And yeah, so 100 grams of carbs from rice, 300 grams of fish raw weight. That's the meal. And I also did 4 units of insulin fast acting with this meal as well. And sorry, this is the pre-workout, not the post-workout. Alrighty, so post-workout meal and fourth meal of the day today. 275 grams of raw weight salmon. This is a normal salmon. This is not the wild salmon, so it does have more fat. 300 grams of raw weight potatoes. I just air fry them both. Obviously, I take the skin off. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so this is the second last meal, which would supposedly be my first meal of the day. 5 whole eggs, 100 grams of carbs worth of cream of rice. This is obviously the flavor gang, but this one is the cookie batter flavor. I just add a teaspoon of cocoa powder, and some cinnamon on top. And it is my favorite meal. And then for my sixth and last meal of the day, I have my whey pudding here. So it's 75 grams worth of protein from whey. What I do it, this is just a piece of frozen asparagus that felt on top of it. But I just mix it with water, whey, and like throw in the fridge. And then before I have it, like 10 to 15 minutes before, I take it out of the fridge, I let it melt a little bit, and it becomes this kind of sludge of whey alone, and that's it. This is the food they have. So yeah, I did shave my face. That's why I look different now. But this has been the same diet for the last over 2 months. Maybe we took potatoes out of one meal when we added it back in, but this is the solid base since when we started working together, pretty much. So the amounts will vary a little bit. Sometimes we'll chop the carbs off. Sometimes we're gonna change beef or salmon for leaner meat. But it doesn't change a lot. So for this particular one, I've been following it for the 4th day now, and the difference before was I didn't have potatoes on meal 4, which now I have. So we just increased the food leading into the show, and the body is still burning and burning and burning. Yeah, well, anyways, this is 9 days out from the Legion, 3.5-ish from the Olympia, and I do want to bring even more and more and more content. I'm really enjoying doing this, so please like, share, subscribe, all those things, and let's keep on with the work.